Opening the heart to the beginning of a new day. Leaving the past behind, that which is utterly gone. The future is the anagata, not yet arrived, not yet come. Opening up to this moment, this day. The feelings of this moment. Glad to be awake. Missing our bed and our pillow. Glad to hear the sound of the rain. Disappointed. Bereft. Missing the sunshine. Glad to be on the last full day of the retreat. Or disappointed. Or mixed feelings. Just to notice that at this moment, this is the way it is. This particular confluence of feeling and perception, sensation, material form, the body, the world, earth, water, fire and wind, the solidity of the body, the chair, the cushion, our clothes, the floor we rest on, the roof that protects us from the rain, the flowing water, the warmth in the air, the breath in our lungs. The sensations of the body, pleasant, neutral, painful. The perceptions. The sound of this voice. A bird in the distance. The trickling rain. Little rumbles of our stomach. The person on the next cushion. Gently shifting. Perception, sound, sight, smell, taste, touch. Our hands resting on each other, on our knees, feeling a cloth on our skin. The air on our face. A tickle in our ear. Feeling, perception, mental formations. The mood of joy or peace, regret, excitement, anticipation, fear, tranquility, brightness, heaviness, dullness. strings of chattering commentary, memories of our friends, little plans for the future, ideas, moods, emotions, memories. Movement of the heart towards choices, intentions, attractions and aversions, irritation, love and compassion, fondness. The world of sankhara, mental formations, karma formations. The movement of the heart towards and away for this and that, love and hate. Consciousness, a simple act of cognition. That which cognizes each moment, each quality of experience, discriminating this from that, here from there, the edges between one thing and another. Right now, this is what we experience, isn't it? The flux of the five khandhas. Arising, crystallizing, dissolving. Displaying themselves to a compelling degree, convincing. Forming coherent patterns. Bringing stories, images, fitting into a world view, or maybe being incoherent, confused, not fitting. There's something in us desperately trying to make it all fit, trying to get that emotion to match everything else, trying to find a place for that memory. But this is it. In this moment, the five khandhas arising and ceasing, crystallizing, dissolving. This is one way we can frame the nature of all experience. Taking refuge in Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha is simply the act of knowing this is what's being experienced. The heart resting in that quality of awareness. The Dhamma aware of its own nature. That's all. The more that the heart just allows the khandhas to do their thing, the greater the degree of freedom. The more that the heart identifies and attaches to the five khandhas, to exactly that degree will there be dukkha. It's a direct relationship. soon as the heart goes out and takes hold of one of the khandhas, as it rises, the heart rises. As it falls, the heart falls. We're born into that. I am born as this hope, this plan, this regret, this character. As soon as there is a point or a center to the knowing, that is the essence of birth in a level of being. As soon as it's my plan, my problem, my achievement, as soon as my day, my last day on the retreat, my last full day, that's birth. Right here, we're born into someone who's had 8 days and has got 1.5 more days. That's who I am. Got plans to go home. The car rides, reuniting with family, going through our front door. Right now these are intentions, mental images, memory, imagination, feeling, mood. Taking shape, dissolving. And it's not even as though these things really come into existence. They really arise, and they really are, and then they really disappear. Even that is just the seeming of things. Sankhara literally means event or deed rather than thing. So it's not even as though a real separate individual thing is born that we attach to. It's just only a seeming of a thing. In this moment, no thing really comes to be. In this moment, no thing really ceases to be. It's just the attention being caught by the conjurer's trick, by the mirage. So in a way, there's no birth and death to be brought to an end. It's just the illusion to be seen through. So the convention of Saturday, last full day of the retreat, this is a prime opportunity to witness and contemplate, to feel the becoming urge. Longing to go home tomorrow, longing for the end of the retreat, fearing it, wanting to hang on to the retreat, wanting to get away from it, planning. What shall I have for supper on Sunday night? Go wild and fantasize about treating ourselves to biscuits on Sunday afternoon, tea time. to use this opportunity to feel, to know directly that becoming urge, the rising of that tide, that wave. So compelling, so attractive, so real. During this day we can bring the attention very directly to this. Just feeling it, knowing that, coming into being, forming. So convincing. I'm gonna, and then. We can use particularly the contemplation on anicca, uncertainty. When the mind moves towards an object it imagines in the future, just to bring up that reflection, to contemplate that feeling, to name it, and then to bring up the reflection. Don't know. It's not a sure thing. When I get home, oh, you're going to get home, are you? Oh. Well, let's get in the car and, oh, the car's going to start, is it? Oh, the car's still there, is it? Now to see the kids again, well, are they still going to be there? Is it a sure thing? Just to keep the attention fresh to the present, just very consciously, clearly cultivating this way of reflecting, tracking the moods during the course of the day, just naming what's going on. Disappointment, gladness, satisfaction, fear, peacefulness, darkness. Tracking what is the impression of each moment. Naming the mood, just highlighting it, calling it by its own name. And then looking at that judgment. Is even that a sure thing? Is this mood good or bad? Is that a sure thing? Ajahn would say that the mind which knows anicca is the Buddha mind. When the heart really awakens to that quality of genuine uncertainty, don't know, it's not a sure thing, then it's open to the infinity of possibilities that is actually the case. There's a readiness and an alertness, a lack of fixity of view. Guides the heart towards non-abiding, not taking a position, not locked into a state of being this and becoming that. It punctures that habit, that urge to abide somewhere, to be this person who has this idea, this feeling, who is this way and wants to become that way, who is this place and wants to become that place, who's with these people and wants to become with those people. Just to reflect, Don't know. What does the future hold? Don't know. Will any of these plans, ideas, come to fruition? Don't know. So this kind of reflection frustrates the becoming, threatens the ego, but simultaneously frees the heart. The sense of self longs to become, feeds on becoming, is addicted to becoming, relishes becoming. I forever becoming something other. The drug of choice. So when we let go of the becoming urge, the ego is frustrated, bereft, lost. But in that very loss for the ego, the heart rejoices. Peace, reality, possibility. Space. It's impossible just to will states, ideas, feelings not to arise. They arise according to karma formations, what causes have been created in the past. So you can't just decide not to wonder about how I'll continue my practice, or to absolutely refuse to think about Sunday afternoon. It doesn't work, does it? But as the mind produces these urges moving towards the imaginary future, creates images of what I'm going to do, where I want to go, who I'm going to see, what happens next. We can set the intention to clearly and fully know that, to resolve not to be caught into the content, no matter how interesting, real, practical, seductive, important it might proclaim itself to be. If we don't live till Sunday afternoon, will it be such an issue? If today was our last day on earth, what happens to my plans for Sunday next week? Just to set the intention as the waves of feeling, anticipation, ideation arise, to simply set the intention to know them for what they are. To intend to not let the attention get drawn into the content, but to simply recognize this is a compelling thought, a compelling feeling. It arises, it ceases. Right now it's demanding attention, asking to be thought about, to be figured out, calculated, resolved. This is the very agitated committee member. So we listen, attend, take it in, and know, without any ambiguity, any hypocrisy, any guesswork, that the future is uncertain. It's not a sure thing. No matter how important it is that we have a plan, we get a train time, we make an appointment. Will we meet? Will the train be there? Will the train be running? Don't know. It's not a sure thing. So that we're training the heart to digest the arisings of these urgencies and plans and feelings. Just knowing them, taking them in, breathing them in, digesting them, recognizing them for exactly what they are, without delusion or suppression or avoidance. This is a plan. Thank you for sharing. What will happen is uncertain. Let go. And all the protestations about being realistic, being practical, being sensible. What are the odds that, for every single one of us, our homes are no longer where we left them? That all of our partners and spouses have evaporated. Can't be all of us. So if it's just, even if it's one or two, that's maybe 25 to 1. So let's be sensible. This is the rationalist committee member being indignant, being reasonable, being sensible. Thank you for sharing. Listening, knowing. Taking it in, letting go. Many years ago, Christmas Humphreys invited Ajahn to give a Dhamma talk at the Buddhist Society on Visakha Puja. So he called up and asked Ajahn Sumedho to arrange it and make the invitation. Ajahn Chah said, I'm happy to receive your invitation, but it's uncertain whether I'll be able to come or not. Christmas Humphreys was pleased about that, and then a little while later called again and asked if they could confirm the arrangement. Once again, Ajahn Chah said, well, I'm happy to receive the invitation, but it's uncertain whether I'll be able to attend or not. This was a little frustrating to Mr. Humphreys. Never mind, keep going. He didn't realize he was receiving a teaching at this point. Days and weeks went by, Visakha got closer and closer, a more and more ever increasingly agitated Toby Humphreys kept visiting the vihara or phoning up, asking if the Venerable Master could in fact commit. They were printing programs and letting people know, and thank you for the invitation. It's uncertain as to whether I'll be able to attend or not. Even up to the day before Visakha Puja, still Ajahn Sumedho as the increasingly anxious intermediary. Because Ajahn Chah wouldn't even tell him. So, has he got some other arrangements? Is there something else he's supposed to be doing that day? Has he got to go to the doctor, or is there some other event? Nothing is planned. Why can't he commit? I'm not certain. On the very morning of Visakha Puja, Christmas Humphreys calls up and says, well, the day has finally arrived. Can Ajahn Chah actually, is he going to be here? Is he going to come? Is he going to be here at the festival this afternoon and to give a Dhamma talk? I mean, he must be certain now. He must be. So, the rather sweaty Ajahn Sumedho then went to Ajahn Chah in the other room and said, Luang Por, Mr. Humphrey's calling again about the Visakha Puja Dhamma talk. He wants to know if you can come or not. Are you going to definitely be there? Ajahn Chah's reply was, thank you for the invitation. It's uncertain whether I'll be there or not. Finally the car shows up at 1 o'clock, the Hampstead Vihara, sent from the Buddhist Society. So Ajahn Sumedho goes to him and says, Luang Por, they sent the car from the Buddhist Society for you to go and give that talk this afternoon. But, I hate to put you on the spot, but you've been saying it's not sure whether you're going to go or not. What would you like to do? The car's here? Okay, let's go. What are you waiting for? Got up, walked out, climbed in the car, and off they went. Finally they got to the Buddhist Society, and an extraordinarily flustered and sweaty Christmas Humphreys was waiting for them. Ajahn Chah was due to give the talk at 2 o'clock. Gleefully steps out of the car with his customary foot-wide grin. Good afternoon. Well, I'm very glad to see you. It's difficult to not know whether you're going to come or not, but it was perhaps you had some very important business that you also had to be attending to. So, no. Well, there's some appointment that you had that was sort of competing for your time today? No, not that I'm aware of. Well, why couldn't he say that he was going to come or not? Oh, all sankharas are uncertain. The Buddha taught, the future is not yet arisen. We never know what's going to happen. That's why I said I'm happy to receive the invitation, but whether I'll come and give the talk or not is uncertain. Wasn't that always the case? Even when our name's on the program. Who knows? Feeling the becoming urge. Knowing it. Letting it go. And even if the heart is caught, it's convinced by the advertising, even when we find ourselves being swept along, and we know, I know I shouldn't be doing this. I know what this is, but I can't back out now. I shouldn't be doing this. And here's my mind saying I shouldn't be doing this. And here's my mind reflecting on the fact that I know that I shouldn't be doing this. I'm still doing it. Even that degree of mindfulness is extremely helpful, because even as we pursue it, and we're able to track that flow of the arising, the pursuit, the gratification, and the knowing of the gratification, and the knowing that this is becoming, and then when the disappointment hits, the letdown, here we are again. Now this is why I said I was never going to do that again. Okay, this time. Now. From now on. This is it. Last time. Never again. Promise, I swear. This is it. Last. Absolutely. Completely. Final. Last time. Never, ever, ever again. This is the feeling of making a resolution. Just even being able to track that process as it happens. The upsurge of feeling, the becoming, the gratification as we get what we want. Even as we're getting it, that feeling of, oh dear. And then the natural disappointment when it, as the thrill, the charge fades away, and we're left with the bill, with the leftover, and the hunger. They say that the moment of maximum excitement is when you know that you're going to get what you want, but you haven't quite got it yet. The counter is in sight. You're reaching for the thing that you want. That's the moment of maximum satisfaction. And even once you've got it, even as you're picking it up, you've taken hold of the desired object, even that is less of a charge than that moment of anticipation. I'm definitely going to get it, and it's nearly there. That's the thrill, the charge that the whole advertising industry works on. This is the essence of bhava, becoming. Fully convinced of the promise that that is going to make me whole. So without judgment, without blaming or self-criticism, just even if we're seduced and caught in that, just knowing the different pieces. Okay, here's the gratification, here's this feeling of satisfaction and conviction, and here's the feeling of disappointment, and here's the resolution never to do it again, and here's that lonely, hungering, incomplete feeling, and here's another opportunity, and here's the thought, and I said I was never going to do this again. But, maybe just one more. I don't want to be, suppressive. I don't want to be attached to purity or anything. Just one more. Feeling that. Feeling the sense of going around and around and around again. So that even if we're caught in it, there's a degree of mindfulness that tracks it, that knows it. So slowly the heart becomes naturally weary, wholesomely weary, tired of the addiction, tired of the painful old cycle. And then rather than renunciation being a kind of forced amputation, we find something just doesn't pick it up again. Just release it, and the disappointment and the weariness, the painfulness of being entangled in that cycle is just outweighs the promise of getting what we want, being with who we love, getting away from the unliked. It falls away. We call it renunciation, but actually it just sort of drops away on its own.